Hi, this is Melanie from the sister writing duo Melanie Shawn, coming to you with our December 14th edition of our Vlogmas videos today. Now today is going to be another #am_reading video because I know that I love to get book recs from authors that I enjoy. So hopefully I'm going to talk about 3 books today. I've got my handy notes as always. And hopefully one of these 3 books, at least maybe 2, maybe even all 3 of them, will be one that sounds interesting to you and you'll pick it up and enjoy it as much as I've been enjoying all 3 of these books. So, the first book that I'm going to talk about is Hosed by Lili, Valente, and Pippa. I've known both of these ladies for quite a while and they're both awesome people. And they both are awesome writers. And when they started writing together, I was like, yes, dream team. Because if you read each of their books individually, I wouldn't say that they have a super similar voice, but you'll be able to tell from their individual books that it would be a very complimentary voice. I was like, okay, yes, #dream team. They are going to be awesome together. And I was right. So, also, I do have to mention that one of the narrators of this book is Virginia Rose, who also narrates Shawna's and my Wishing Well series on Audible, and she is awesome. She is such a good actress, such a good reader, and I highly recommend. I mean, it would be great if you checked out the Wishing Well novels as well, but if those aren't your bag for whatever reason, I would highly recommend checking out the rest of her catalog because she's a great actress. But back to Hosed. Okay, so this book is so much fun and so hot and so just, I would say it just kept moving along at such a clip that there were a lot of times where I would finish driving to where I was driving to and I was like, oh no, I'm just gonna finish this scene. So I would just be sitting in my car outside Target or outside Safeway or something waiting for the scene to finish. Even though I can totally just plug my headphones into my phone and continue listening along the way of whatever I'm doing, grocery shopping or whatever, but it's like, no, I just wanted to sit in the car and get to a good stopping point because it's just, the pace of it is so great that you just kind of never want to stop once you get into the groove of it. So, premise of the book: firefighter, virgin, girl next door story. There was one more thing. Oh, yes, of course. Nerd girl heroine. Oh my gosh, so many things. And I know that I have said several times in other videos that there's really 2 things I look for in a genre fiction book: great premise and then great execution. It's really rare that a book will have both of them, in my experience anyway. Lots of books have great premises, but then you read them and you're like, the execution was whatever. And then some books just have such good execution, but they're hard to recommend because it's hard to nail down what the hook of the premise is. This book, A+ on both of them. So great. Okay, so next I am reading Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score. So also, I will just say ahead of time, you might notice that on many of my #am_reading videos, they're not going to be brand new releases because I pretty much exclusively listen to books on Audible. Because of my job, clearly I spend a lot of time at the computer. And then if I also read on an e-reader or on my phone is how I usually read if it's an ebook, I tend to get a lot of headaches. So I pretty much exclusively listen to books on Audible. So my timeline of reading books on I don't really have a TBR list. I have a TBTL list, to be listened to list, are going to be, months or sometimes even years behind where everyone who follows that author is. That's just one of the things you have to live with as an audiobook person. But that was a side note. Back to Mr. Fixer-Upper. So, okay, again, this book is a marriage of really great premise and really great execution. I think when you find an author you trust to execute, I think that's the reason why people are so loyal to the authors that are in their auto-buy circle, because then when you read a great premise, you can trust that you can get excited about it because you just know that the execution is going to be stellar. And Lucy is, I mean, honestly, I'm being completely honest when I say this. I cannot think of one thing I have read of hers that I was disappointed in the execution. Every single thing I have ever read of hers, the execution lived up to the premise. And to me, that's pretty much the highest compliment that I could pay an author. So, mwah. So, and Mr. Fixer-Upper is no different. So there's two things that hooked me into this book right away. First of all, I love an opposites attract story. So this is a great one of those, like a great, it sort of reminded me of like a Tracy Hepburn vibe kind of a thing. And then nobody writes chemistry like Lucy Score. Like nobody has the exact flair that she manages to capture. And there were so many tangible sparks and so much chemistry in this book. It was so great. And I mean, it still is so great. I've got like an hour left to go in it. But yes, so at any rate, highly recommend Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score. So next, I am reading Wild Devotion, which was formerly titled March Wind by Mary Carr. This is a book that I have been listening to kind of on and off for, I mean, honestly, probably months, if not more. And it's only a 5-hour read. But the reason that I keep stopping and starting is because it's clear from the outset that it is going to be a tearjerker book. I mean, that's not a secret. It's very clear, even just reading the book, that this book is going to be a heartwarming but heart-wrenching read. So I just haven't felt ready to dive in. But recently I was just like, no, Melanie, every time you stop it and then when you restart it again, you've got to reacclimate to the world. You've got to dive back in. Just go through and finish it, even if you cry, even if it's an emotional roller coaster. I don't know why I thought the holidays would be a good time to do that, but that's what I did. But oh my gosh, you guys, it's so good. I should have known. I should have trusted Mary that she would be able to handle this with the delicacy, that even though it would be a heart-wrenching read, it wouldn't be a depressing read. Because that's really what I've come away with, is even though it is, I mean, it is such an emotional, poignant story, it's also so life-affirming and so, I mean, yeah, I guess life-affirming is the best word, but I mean, it's also very positive and uplifting, even though that seems like it would be counterintuitive. Like, it's just great. I don't want to get into analyzing it too much or definitely spoiling it. Just, if you have been sleeping on this book because you're afraid of the feels, don't do it. Dive in. There are feels, I'm not going to lie, but you're going to love it. As you're going through them, you're going to be like, I didn't want the feels, but now that they're here, I kind of love them. That's what has been happening to me at any rate. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty confident speaking for you. I think that is what's going to happen. So at any rate, those are the 3 books that I've been reading and enjoying recently, and hopefully one of them is a book that you will be inspired to pick up and enjoy as much as I have. See you tomorrow.